using two different cutting boards. I've got this one for the apples, and that one I'll be using for the onions so that you don't cross flavors. It just tastes better that way. Okay. Here's our rabbit. You can see it's been cleaned already, and we've had it in the freezer for a while, so pulled it out of there. Now we're going to start in with stuffing it. We've got our butter here, which I'm just going to use the whole cube. It's not really going to hurt anything. Most of it's going to leak out anyway, but that'll do. That'll really add some fats to it. Rabbit is a very lean meat. It's half the fat of chicken and twice the protein. So adding some fat, some milk fat to it, is a really good idea. Just go ahead and just get that in there. If you wanted to get real picky, you could get some baker's twine and sew up the cavity. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and just smear that in there like so. I've got my apples here. I'm going to shove those in the cavity too. You don't have to be a specific spacing or anything. You just have to get them in there. You don't want to use up all of your room because you still got some onions that got to go in here. I'm not going to dice up my onions to put them in here. I'm just going to go ahead and see the length of them like they are now. I'm going to cut this little deal off here, and then I'm going to mash the onion. That way it releases all the onion flavor, and then I'll put that in my rabbit. So I'll just go ahead and cut these here. Now, these have already been washed. Usually you have to wash them when they come from the store. They got a little bit of dirt on them. Really want that in the mouth, but some people are different, I guess. Anyhow, so that should be plenty because you're not really eating them necessarily. You can when they come out of the cavity, but like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and mash those. Get them all. And then we'll go ahead and it'll stay there. So we're going to set some foil down on the grill so it doesn't stick to the, pull apart when we try to do this. So now what you've got your garlic. That's going to go in there too. So I get to mince the garlic just because it's quicker. It's than having to sit there and slice it. But if you like bigger pieces of garlic, you can go ahead and do that. And if you think garlic is too offensive, but you still want some, elephant garlic isn't nearly as potent as regular garlic is. You can use. So now we've got some garlic salt. So we're going to go ahead. Just want to. If you're watching your salt intake, you might just skip that and just use the garlic powder. The reason I'm using this, even though there's garlic in there, is because you're going to want some of that on the outside of the meat, which is why I'm only seasoning one side of it, because that other garlic is going to leak down into the bottom. So you're not going to have that problem on the bottom. What I've got it here is sage. Okay, like I said, regular cheap old sage. You don't have to buy anything expensive. And you're going to want to go ahead and coat this rabbit pretty darn good with it. A lot of it comes off, you can overdo it with sage, but what I'm doing here isn't. Okay, now you're going to want to put some salt and pepper on it. Take some salt, some regular iodized salt, and then I like to grind my pepper. You can get just regular pepper if you want to, but I like the peppercorns myself on mine. So there you go, you got that. Right, what I'm also going to do is when I put it on there and it's going to cook for a minute, I'm going to wait for it to sear all that, get that moisture to set into the meat, What I've got on my grill is about 500 degrees. Now ordinarily that would burn, but what I'm doing is I'm offsetting the fire, so it's a non-direct cooking. It'll also smoke it and get some of that wood smoke into your meat. It should be really good. What I'm going to do is, as I'm going along, I'm going to get, this is beer and olive oil. Now you don't have to get an expensive beer because all you're doing is squirting it on the food. But if you want to, maybe marinate it, I would suggest like a darker beer, maybe get a darker beer. But because we're just going to spray this on there, we're just going to just use a cheap old beer, and I've got some olive oil in there to help with that sear and that coating on the outside to keep the moisture. Yeah, we got some oak in here. Ordinarily with a rabbit I'd use hickory too. Is it on? So here's this side. This side doesn't have any coals on it at all, see? So I mean, go ahead and I'm going to set my rabbit like so. Letting that heat build up a little bit. What that's going to do, I've got my vents open, except for on this side I've got it closed on the top, and I've got the bottom vent open, and on this side I've got the bottom vent open, and this one open. What that's going to do is going to push that smoke through my rabbit. So go ahead and we'll close this up, and we'll come back here in a few minutes and squirt it with some beer. Alright, as you can see, it's only been a few minutes, but this is starting to look really good. Getting some smoke in there. I'm going to add some salt to it. And some pepper. I think I already have. But here's our beer and olive oil mix. Now, of course, oil and water don't mix, or stay that way anyway. So you want to go ahead and shake it up and start spraying pretty quick. Otherwise, it'll spew out all over the place because you want to do that and just soak it. Like so. Make sure it's got that. Close it up and come back. Alright, so as you can see, it's coming along well. Starting to get some sizzling on the bottom side. That butter's going through it. Got some smoke going right there. But ordinarily you'd open it up as quickly as possible, get it squirted down again with your beer and your olive oil, like so, and then get it back closed again. So you want to kind of make that a quick process because you're still trying to achieve the smoke and keep the heat to your rabbit. As you can see, getting a lot of smoke on this. We probably need to go ahead and shut down our dampers a little bit. We want to keep the top one open because we're still driving that smoke there, but we'll shut our bottoms down almost all the way because it's obviously getting to a point where it's going to be done. We don't want it to burn. We do want a little bit crisp, but we don't want it to burn. So as you can see, pretty well done with it. You can see you've got a nice sear on your meat there. Wow, that's hot. And your insides are nice and baked in. You got your garlic, your onion, your apple. It's all going to go into that meat. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off. We'll cut into it and then we'll try a piece. Missed that rib. There it is. Okay. It is done all the way to the bone. And juicy right there in the middle. I'd just go and I'd join it is what I'd do. And pull off a piece and serve it out like that. Let's try some of this. That's good, dude. Pretty good. A nice sear on the outside. Spices are all exactly the way that they should be. Juicy. Got that apple flavor in there, and you got that onion. That is really good.